Shalom to the hopeful elect of Israel. Let us give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Racha, Kodash. Double honor to our elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Again, peace and salutations to the hopeful elect of Israel. I got two precepts I want to open up with first. We'll go here. Let's go to Deuteronomy first. Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 32. I'm going to jump down to verse 39. It's about the fear of the Lord. Sin is a lack of fearing Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Sin is also the wages of death, or the wages of sin is death. All right, fear is the lack of the Lord, a lack of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, which is a lack of the fear of the Lord, and sin leads to death. All right, Deuteronomy 32 and 39. Now see that I, even I, am He, and there is no God with me. I kill, and I make alive. I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. Thus says Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right. And my next precept I want to get. A lot of these things are self-explanatory. Now you have an understanding of how the Lord really look at things. The Lord said, I've done all these things. All right. Isaiah 31 and verse 1. Woe, which means destruction. Woe to them that go down to Egypt, which means a place of bondage. Wherever you are places of bondage, captivity, right? Which the children of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians all over the world are in your place of, are in a sense of Egypt, a place of bondage. Okay, it says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. So y'all don't look. You're not looking for Yahweh Shai. You're not looking for Yahweh. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, Yahweh Shai, neither seek the Lord. All caps, all capitals. That's Yahweh. Okay. And then in that, let's get verse 2, it says, yea, he also is wise and will bring evil, and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity. So your help, you going down to these governments for assistance and help and things of that nature, especially when it considers your health, because that's what we're about to get into. And this is not medical information. This is just using for edification. You know, I'm just using a couple of clips, you know, free use, fair use, like fair use, I said free use, fair use. We'll get a couple of these clips. You can see where we're going with it.
The governors of California, Oregon, and Washington are banding together to ensure that residents are given science-based vaccine recommendations. It comes as lawmakers in Florida are working to end all vaccine mandates for children. If successful, Florida would become the first state to do so.
KTLA's John Fenolio is live in Hollywood with the latest on the turmoil concerning public health policy and vaccine.
Now consider the situation that's going on in the world right now. Even though Florida is pulling back from all these vaccines, making it mandatory, what is that going to mean? The world's going to look at it like this is going to be the main place where a lot of diseases are going to come out of. You know, you got to read in between the lines. All right, this is where a lot of deportation and the scope is going to be on places like Florida and all these other. For one, it's a divide. This is a divide amongst the country, amongst America. This is an implementation leading to insurrection and the downfall of America. But just listen.
In the United States. John?
Share, Micah, Florida Surgeon General today describing vaccine mandates as immoral, even comparing them to slavery. Now, Florida's move, as well as similar decisions at the federal level, have public health experts increasingly concerned.
The Florida Department of Health, in partnership with the governor, is going to be working to end all vaccine mandates in Florida law. All of them. All of them.
Florida, now the first state to move to eliminate all vaccine mandates. State Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo says that includes schools, describing vaccine mandates in shocking terms.
Every last one of them is wrong and drips with disdain and slavery.
That means an end to vaccine mandates for measles, polio, hepatitis B, and chickenpox, just to name a few. Public health experts sounding the alarm.
What we're seeing is an assault. It's an assault on science. It's an assault on CDC. And it is making Americans less safe.
Florida's move follows a wave of similar controversial actions at the federal level. Since becoming Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has overseen the firing of CDC Director Susan Menares, as well as all 17 members of the CDC's Vaccine Advisory Panel. He's restricted COVID-19 vaccine access, ended funding for mRNA vaccine development, and slashed funding for infectious disease research at the National Institutes of
All this to make you feel a little more safe, right? To make you feel a little more comfortable, you know, considering that the things that's happening or that's happened since 2020, all right? They have a slick way of making things seem, how does the scripture say? When they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall come. So they're trying to make it seem like they're solving the problem. When in all actuality, what it leads to is that these people have no faith. They believe in themselves. They're full of pride. And the Lord about to take them out. But they got to go for this final push. Let's get it.
Health. Responding to the recent public health upheaval, the governors of California, Oregon, and Washington are launching a new West Coast Health Alliance, they say, to uphold scientific integrity in public health, issuing a joint statement saying in part, President Trump's mass firing of CDC doctors and scientists and his blatant politicization of the agency is a direct assault on the health and safety of the American people. The CDC has become a political tool that increasingly peddles ideology instead of science. The Department of Health and Human Services denies those claims.
Measles and rubella and whooping cough are only coming back now because people have been choosing not to get vaccinated. And so increasingly that risk is getting worse, the outbreaks are getting bigger, and more people are getting affected by it.
HHS Secretary RFK Jr. will appear on Capitol Hill tomorrow. He's going to testify before the Senate Finance Committee. He's expected to be grilled about his recent CDC firings and sweeping changes to America's vaccine policy. Back to you.
They can't go out like that. Let's go to Florida.
Move fast, break nothing with trustworthy AI. SAS Via.
Florida plans to end all state vaccine mandates, including for students to attend schools. The state Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo announced the move on Wednesday, saying, quote, "What you put into your body is because of your relationship with your body and your God. I don't have that right." Ladapo said his agency would roll back mandates for a half dozen or so vaccines under its authority, but did not specify which mandates it would do away with. Florida's Republican Governor Ron DeSantis made opposing COVID-19 mandates and precautions a focus of his first term in office. In regards to the rollback, DeSantis said, quote, "Medical freedom is something we've got to be very conscientious about protecting." Public health experts warn the move could trigger severe outbreaks among children, tourists, and those with compromised immune systems. Dr. Tina Tan, president of the Infectious Diseases Society of America, said Florida's move would, quote, "be a major disaster and lead to, quote, multiple outbreaks of vaccine-preventable disease.
See what I'm saying? That's what they're saying. All right. So don't be surprised of the insurrection, of the a house being divided. This is what America's prepping for. Okay, that's what America is prepping for, and that's exactly what prophecy says is about to happen. So you're gonna have people, the same thing that happened back in 2020, right? You had families breaking up, you had families arguing with each other, you had households separating because one group of people believe this, another group of people believe that. Yahweh Shemel Shah said it himself. Matter of fact, let's get it. Let me go here. This is what's about to happen on a large scale. And if you're not connected with Yahweh Shemel Shah, even if you are connected with Yahweh Shemel Shah, your house is about to be separated. So lucky that's not the word I want to put. Yeah. I don't think I spelled that right, but y'all can bear with me. There we go, Matthew chapter 35. Matthew chapter 10, verse 35. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's foes shall be those of his own household. He that loveth mother or father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And see, this is going to be the complicated thing for those that's based on their that live life based on their feelings, trying to save their life, trying to save their house, trying to save their, the Lord said, if you put any of these things before me, you are not worthy of me. Your family. The Lord said, I told you to do this. I told you not to take that MOTB. I told you not to go down to Egypt for help. I told you to seek me, seek my word, understand me, trust me. I'm the physician, right? But you want to go down to Egypt, Esau, Edom, and any other heathen people, but specifically Esau, Edom, and he's a forger of lies, a physician of no value, right? But you still want to go down to them. Personally, bro, anybody, I've never trusted that damn system. My mom never trusted going to the hospital and that shit. And it's so sad. It's sad that, I got family members that trusted that shit and they not in good condition right now. My mom was was in a she had a plague of the mind, dementia, and she really didn't have too much of a say-so of what she wanted to do and where she wanted to go. And some family members that took her down to that damn hospital knowing that me personally, I know she don't like hospitals and shit like that. I was thinking about, let's just pray, give her some time, and let the Lord work it out. But nope, they wanted to take her to the hospital, and within a year she was dead. Okay. I'm not gonna say like all hospitals in certain situations you gotta choose wisely, but first and foremost, you should be praying to Yahweh Shemel Shah. But this is what's going to happen. A lot of people are going to come against each other. This is going to cause insurrection. It's going to cause a lot of uproar amongst the people. The brother against brother, the father against father. Neighbor against neighbor. And they're setting it up. Yahweh Shemel Shah is the one actually setting it up for it to take place. Let's go.
All U.S. states have vaccine requirements to attend public schools, with specific exceptions varying by state. However, President Donald Trump's health secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., has long questioned the safety of vaccines. He has promoted the view that they contribute to rising rates of autism, contrary to scientific evidence. Since taking office this year, Kennedy has taken steps to remake U.S. policy on vaccines. He has fired expert vaccine advisors to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and replaced them with people who more closely share his views. DeSantis said Wednesday he was establishing a commission to align the state with Kennedy's healthcare agenda that will also provide input for a legislative package. The legislature does not convene until January.
See, as it's written, we said in Revelations, two horns like a lamb. They're gonna act like they got the solution. They're gonna speak as a dragon. They're gonna come together, y'all. They're trying to come up with a different, because Robert F. Kennedy trying to Salaki for sound like I'm all over the place. It's trying to come up with a to try to get you comfortable to believe that they're getting rid of all the nonsense doctors and scientists that they had once before, and they're trying to clean house and make sure that people are more are better fit to as far as creating vaccines, so that when they mandate it, it won't be no fear. The whole Robert F. Kennedy thing is a joke. Matter of fact, let me get a precept and we're gonna go back to another video. Let's go here. No. I was right there. Let's go here. Let's go to James. Oh, what the hell? How you go from the Old Testament to the New Testament? Just like that. James chapter 5. We're going to jump down. That's not it. Come on. All right, let's start here at verse 13. All right. It says, Is any among you afflicted? Let him pray. Is any merry? Let him sing psalms. All right. Afflicted. Right? You're not feeling too good. You're sick. You got ailments. What did it say? Let them pray. As we just read in Isaiah 31, our people will not go down to pray. They won't seek of Yahweh Shah. They won't seek of Yahweh or Yahweh Shah. They're going, oh man, I feel bad. I need to go to the hospital. I'm not going to just, when all it is probably you doing some sinful act. You got diseases in your body from doing that sinful act. You need to pray, fast, sweat it out, right? Eating something you ain't supposed to be eating, and it's attacking your body. Doing something you're not supposed to be doing, and it's attacking your spirit, your body. Verse 14, is any sick among you? Let him call for the elders of the church, and let them pray over him, anointing him with oil in the name of the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Well, that's actually Yahweh Shai, the Holy One. And the prayer of faith shall save the sick, and the Lord shall raise him up. And if he have committed sins, they shall be forgiven him. Right? Going back to what we read in Deuteronomy 32 and 39. Who controls sickness? Who heals? Who kills? Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. That's a part of fearing the Lord. Understanding understanding the power of the Lord. All people are sick in the head because they say they believe in God. They say they believe in the Lord. They don't even know his name. But they say they believe in him. Their heart is, they worship me with their lips, but their heart is far removed from me. People are going to have to start getting it in their mind. That at the end of the day, you're really going to have to depend on Yahweh Shema Shai. And the first thing you should do, confronting these afflictions, these illnesses, is to pray. All right, verse 16. confess your faults one to another, and pray one for another, that ye may be healed. The effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. Okay? And y'all want to be around everybody that's out there doing wickedly. And you think just because somebody, say they love, the Lord, they call his name Jesus, which is blasphemous. All right, I love Jesus, man. Let me pray for you. But they out there smoking and eating all type of abominable bullshit. Even after they've been warned that shit is not kosher with Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Right? Committing adultery, talking down about, the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. The Lord ain't listening to the prayers of sinners. People that just willingly sin, even after they heard the truth, the Lord ain't working with them. You got to understand that. All right. Let me get this in Jeremiah. Then we're gonna go back to this Robert F. Kennedy. Jeremiah chapter 17. We're gonna jump down to verse 14. Well, we might start at verse. Yeah. I'm start at verse 13. O Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the hope of Israel, all that forsake thee shall be ashamed, and they that depart from me shall be written in the earth. All right. So as we read in Isaiah 31, you don't want to go down and put your trust in these government systems. You want to put your trust in the medicine of man. First and foremost, you want to seek the Lord. Get on your knees, cry out to the Lord. Pray. And they that depart from me shall be written in the earth, because they have forsaken the Lord, the foundation of living waters. Khan, the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. That's what gives us life. We're spirit. You know what, right? The Most High is a spirit. Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is a spirit, and we're told to worship him in spirit and in truth. Right? You see bodies, you see flesh, you see eyes, you see ears, but it's what's inside of us is a lot deeper than it's a lot more to us than what you see on the surface. Again, oh Lord, the hope of Israel. Right? Because we're talking about Israel. We're actually angels trapped in these chains of darkness. The flesh. Right? The hope of Israel, which is the Lord. That's who you had to put your hope in, no matter what you go through. Technology is not going to save you. Vaccines. Your hope is not in bottles. Right? Your hope is not inside of a box that comes with a syringe where they squirt things inside of your body and you don't know what it's doing to your body. All that forsake thee shall be ashamed, and they that depart from me shall be written in the earth, because they have forsaken the Lord, the fountain of living waters. Verse 14, heal me, O Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, and I shall be healed. This is the faith. Lord, if you heal me, I'm going to be okay. I shall be healed if you heal me. Not from anything outside of the Lord. Now, the Lord might, use certain things. These people might put some kind of concoction together, or the Lord might even better give you a natural remedy. A lot of the brothers of GMS, there's a few brothers that I particularly know of and I listen to, like Hanak from San Francisco. I believe his channel is GMS. It's like a space and dedication. He has a lot of videos about the health. The elders and apostles go into walking, eating right, all types of videos for you to get you know, get your health right for you to be healed. But they mostly push prayer and fasting. Again, heal me, O Lord. This is a prayer right here. Heal me, O Lord, and I shall be healed. Save me, and I shall be saved, for thou art my praise. Okay? All right. Let me get this video. This other clip. Where you at? Right there. Let's get it.
Welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, the largest land map.
Political reporter Doug Reardon is live outside of the CDC tonight. And Doug, the signatures even include some current members of the CDC workforce.
Yeah, they do, Carly, as well as current and former members of the Department of Health and Human Services, which Kennedy also oversees. And by the way, we did hear back from Kennedy's office today. They said that resignation, no way is that happening on his own accord. But the employees here who are signed on to this petition, and there are over 1,000 of them, still wanted to get word out. And as they say in that letter to Kennedy, calling on him to resign, he's compromising the very health of the American people. The petition is plain and simple, signed by over 1,000 former and current CDC and HHS workers. It bluntly calls for the resignation of Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy.
Of course, they're trying to say their job. They want to get back. They want to get back. So everything is backfiring. Everybody's against each other. This is going to lead to more and more people not trusting in this system anymore. That's what it's boiling down to. And then this system is going to start fighting back as you see Trump using the military to combat against so-called violence. Like they couldn't keep a lock on this stuff all along. Right? Like they couldn't they couldn't been control guns flowing in and out of certain communities. Like they couldn't have been control drugs and all this stuff flowing in and out of these communities, man. These people got all this technology. Y'all don't see how the drugs and the guns is getting inside these communities. Y'all got all the technology, UFO technology. Not UFO, Slocky. Satellite technology. Y'all can see everything. Y'all can pinpoint everything, but y'all can't see where these people who the fuck is slipping these drugs and these guns into these communities at. It's bullshit. But yeah, this place is about to go down hard.
Jr. saying, quote, "Our oath requires us to speak out when the Constitution is violated and the American people are put at risk. Thus, we warn the President, Congress, and the public that Secretary Kennedy's actions are compromising the health of this nation."
Morale has been low for months now.
Abby Tai is a former CDC worker who signed the petition. She was part of the federal reduction in force earlier this year that led to almost a quarter of CDC.
Yeah, they fighting back because they lost their job. That's what they went to school for. That's what they went to school for. All right. And like I said earlier at the beginning of this lesson, DeSantis, Florida, they trying to link up with Robert F. Kennedy. So I wouldn't be surprised if this be one of the major hotspots that they hit when they get a chance to, when they push the narrative that, okay, because a lot of people in Florida wasn't taking them vaccines and things like that, this place need to be quarantined. Well, didn't we just go through that? This place need to be quarantined and locked down. And then that's when the precept that come out that a man who wishes to go into another city and won't be able to. I know it's in second Esdras. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, they're gonna start shutting down borders. Florida, I wouldn't be surprised if Florida be the one of the main borders shut down. Florida, Louisiana, around the cities of Chicago and Houston and Texas and in California, New York, right? 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. The shutdown is coming back. The same thing that happened in 2020 is on the rise. All right, so don't sleep. Don't sleep out here. I want to go here, right? Because these people, the children of Israel, because that's what the main focus is about. We're coming to a time where you're going to have to learn how to put all your trust in Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua. Isaiah chapter 10, verse 20. Isaiah chapter 10, verse 20. A remnant will return. See, only a small elect number of the children of Israel is going to return. 1/3 is going to return to the Lord. Is going to be repentative and going to listen and trust in the words of Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua. Here we go. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day, the day that we're approaching, that the remnant of Israel, 1/3 of Israel, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. There we go again, the Holy One of Israel. That's Yahweh Shah. Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah. But shall stay upon the Lord Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, Yahweh Shah, in truth. How are we supposed to worship the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, who are spirits? In truth. Well, Yahweh Shah, he's a glorified body. He's a glorified body right now. He's not gonna meet this world as a man. He's a glorified being, which is gonna happen to the elect of Israel first and foremost. But it's gonna happen to all of Israel. After the 2/3 die, they're gonna come back in the kingdom with those glorious bodies, as it was ordained or as it was written from the beginning. All right. 21. The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power. For though thy people Israel is as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. Right. The 1/3, the elect. The consumption decree shall overflow with righteousness, and that's when it starts. That's when it starts. Right. We're gonna get here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna hold off on that for a little bit. No, right now would be the perfect time to get it. Let's get it. Sirach. Chapter 37, verse 25. The days of the life of man may be numbered, but the days of Israel, Yashar Allah, are innumerable. Right? Once we receive those new bodies through Yahweh Shah, it's not going to be a thing of sin anymore. Sin is going to be buried. Death is going to be destroyed. Victory is going to be gotten by the children of Israel through Yahweh Shah, through His blood. Obedience is going to be given back to the Heavenly Father by those that He loved. All right. Again, the days of the life of man may be numbered. So all these other heathen nations, no matter who they are, their days are numbered. Right. But the days of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians, which is the 12 tribes of Israel. The 12 tribes of Israel, from Judah all the way to Issachar, it says, are innumerable. With that, I want to get this other clip that I got stored, hiding, chilling. I don't even want to read no more about this guy or see no more about this guy. I want to go here to these people.
Can you go to First Watch and not get the $1 million bacon? $1 million bacon.
Darn near sensual.
Perfectly cooked.
I love a sweet and savory combo.
It's clear that Russia...
And you wonder why you sick. And you wonder why you sick, right? But let's go here, see, because the other nations, not only is America trying to come up with ways of preserving health and life and things of that nature. Look over here.
China and North Korea are under pressure by the United States. All three are under the U.S. sanctions, various kinds, whether it's export controls or comprehensive sanctions with regard to Russia and North Korea. And all three have the reasons to believe that the U.S. is an adversary. So when the three are meeting, it's natural to believe that they all talk about how to push back against the U.S. After the war in Ukraine has started, the full-scale Russian invasion, Russia is increasingly becoming a junior partner of China. But this subservience to China helps to keep the Putin's regime afloat. Russia is the major beneficiary of China's ability to provide Russia with dual-use goods and all of the technologies to circumvent the sanctions and keep the military machine fuming. China has become the major source of Russia's export revenues that is filling Putin's war chest. And for China, obviously, Russia's war in Ukraine provides a distraction to the U.S. This relationship has been increasingly solidified by the war in Ukraine, but also increasingly becoming lopsided, with China having all the leverage and all the cards, where Russia is increasingly dependent on China's choices.
And here, check this out. They said a hot mic had picked up on Putin's and Xin's, however you say, side, their conversation. But today they say that at 70, you are still a child. All right. Putin via translation. Human organs can be continuously transplanted. That's some old shit. See, that's what these the higher ups been doing. Look at the Rothschilds and shit like that. Look at the what's that lady name? Or her shit, Elizabeth. All these people, you know, about a year ago, they all started dying off. Human organs can be continuously transplanted. That's what they thinking. You think human organs is gonna save you, man? When sin is the disease, technology can't fix it. And the thing is, all these other heathen nations they're gonna continue to sin. They're gonna go off, but they're gonna have a longer life once the children of Israel are in rulership. Starting with Yahweh Shah. Once Yahweh Shah is in rulership, I say that. Once Yahweh Shah is in rulership and things are ran properly with equity and righteousness, and these heathens, they necks get stepped on. You know, when the earth is put back in perfect harmony with Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, with the heavens, then that's when the other nations are going to be blessed. They're going to live to be, matter of fact, check this out. Check what he say. The longer you live, the younger you become. And you can even achieve immortality. Nah. When sin is a disease, technology can't fix it. Okay? And none of these other heathen nations understand that. Let's get this in Psalm. Psalm 147. Psalms 147. And go jump down to verse 19. He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord, because this is only for the children of Israel. To be given that gift of immortality is for the children of Israel. To go from these corrupt bodies to incorruptible bodies is for the children of Israel, and the children of Israel only. Right? That's why when Lord willing, we be a part of that number, that the elect number, and we endure to the end, we're gonna be the first ones to see how the nation's gonna be like, damn, the Lord been working with these people all this time. These are the people of the Lord. Adawan Ratazah, we endure. Adawan Ratazah, man. Yeah, the Lord didn't give this word to everybody. His statutes, he didn't give it to everybody.
越活越年轻，甚至会长生不老。预测呢，本世纪呢，可能。
The Xing speaking Mandarin. Some predict that in this century, humans may live up to 150 years old. Hey, Adawan Ratazah, in this century. What's a century? 1,000 years? A decade is 10 years. A century is 100 years. Let's see. In this century. Forgot how many years is a century. A 100 years. Okay, so a decade is 10. A century is 100. In this century. Or maybe not in this century. All right. Zing, whatever. Maybe not in this century. Humans may live up to 150 years. Nah, not yet. After 1,000 years, after y'all get beaten to subjection, yeah, y'all might live up to 150 years then. You know? But the thing is, what he going off of, he talking about technology. Technology is not going to fix sin. Technology can't fix sin. That's what you're going to understand. Let's get this in Isaiah. Isaiah 29. I'm going to jump down to verse 7. It says, and the multitude of all the nations that fight against Ariel, which is Israel, even all that fight against her and her munition, and that distress her, shall be as a dream of a night vision. Okay? So all of the oppression that we're going through right now is going to be conquered when Yahweh Shemiah shall return. What we're going through right now is going to be like a night vision. It's going to be like a bad dream. You know, because these devils, these, you know, Esau, Edom, and these other heathen nations, they so puffed up, they so proud. They really think that they're gonna last forever. That they're gonna keep on going back and forth and controlling the narrative. No, Yahweh Shah is coming, and it started with His word. It started with His word going out, and it started with the elect of Israel being risen up and being marked for exemption and being marked for salvation. That's what's happening right now. All right, it says, and the multitude of all the nations that fight against Israel, or Ariel, even all that fight against her and her munitions, and that distress her, shall be as a dream of a night vision. It shall even be as when an hungry man dreameth, and he behold, he eateth, and behold, he eateth, but he awaketh, and his soul is empty. That's how they're going to feel. They're going to feel bad going into captivity, right? Or as when a thirsty man dreameth, and he behold, he drinketh, but he awaketh, and behold, he is faint. His soul hath appetite. So shall the multitude of all the nations be that fight against Mount Zion, that fight against the government of Israel. All right? The Lord said those that don't come down and worship the children of Israel, you know, Yasharallah, that don't worship the Lord, Yahweh Shah, you know, in that time, that they not going to have no rain in their countries, in their lands. Their land's going to be desolate. They're going to learn to worship the true power, the true government, Yasharallah, under Yahweh Shah, in the tabernacle of King David. They're going to learn, and then they might be able to get that 100 years, you know, being obedient, not eating, what they eat, octopus, you know, them Asians, the so-called Asians, you know, Moab and Ammon, out there eating crab, lobster, shrimp, octopus, and whatever the fuck else they could find under the sea. Let me go to this Ecclesiastes, and I'm gonna leave it at there. Let's go ahead. Ecclesiastes chapter 10. Ecclesiastes chapter 10. Call her like how about you, Shah? They must have heard me. And we're gonna jump down to verse 7. And it states, pride is hateful before the Most High and man, and by both doeth one committed iniquity. See, going back to that sin. When sin is the disease, technology can't fix it. And these people sound proud. Verse 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And they're talking about America, Esau, Edom, mainly America. You know, this kingdom that's being ran by Esau, Edom, going back to Esau and Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Tell me, answer this question for me. Why? You see this? I like this though, because he kind of got a different, you know, Sheen, whatever his name. It's not necessarily a suit and a tie, but it's still a suit. That's not their original. That's not their original. But look behind him. Look behind him over his right shoulder. Why this dude? He looked like a so-called Asian, right? Got a suit and a tie. This is Esau Edom's look. This is his attire. You know, and even though you know, the Asian guy right here with the gray suit on or whatever, it's not necessarily, you know, the same as Putin's or you know, Edomite's garment, right? But it's not necessarily his original garment either. They have garments going down to their feet too, because they got that from Israel, from Yasharallah. That's our code, our government. I mean, our conduct. You know, to have garments down to the feet. That's how you were able to see the true color of Yahweh Shah, because the garment went down to his feet. But anyway, let me go back. Right. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And that's in what's that? Daniel chapter 2. Where it states this kingdom will not be left to no other. The last kingdom that's going to be erected, which is the kingdom of Israel, Yahweh Shah's kingdom. Verse 9, why is earth in ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man, for such as one setteth his own soul for sale, because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels. Is that not what Esau did? He gave away his birthright, right? He sold his birthright for a morsel of meat, of uncooked meat, right? This is the point, verse 10. The physician cutteth off a lone disease. That physician is Yahweh Shah. The physician cutteth off a lone disease, and he that is today a king, tomorrow shall die. Okay? The kingdom is being translated to people that's going to live forever, starting with Yahweh Shah. a people that's going to live forever. Let me jump down. Let's go to 12. It says, the beginning of pride is when one departed from the Most High, and his heart is turned away from his Maker. And these people, they don't even know Yahweh Shai like that. They don't even know the Most High. Their heart is continually turned away from their Maker. That's why when Yahweh Shai return, they're gonna be beaten. They're gonna be beaten into submission with a rod into shivers. They're gonna be beaten into submission with a rod into shivers till they understand who created them, right? Because they think all type of shit created them right now. They think they're God, they're whatever God they worship. They think that's who created them. They don't know who created them. But we're going to put it in their life. Lord, wouldn't we be a part of that elect number? We're going to put it in their life. Just the same way they beat Toby into us. We're going to beat Yahweh Shai to them. Yeah. Well, what's the Most High's name? What y'all say? God? What's God's name? I dare y'all say, Shiva. Oh, pow, pow, pow. Get it right. Or Buddha, pow, 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 get it right. Oh, they're gonna call on Yahweh Shai. Oh, his name is Yahweh. What's the Most High's name? Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You damn right. Say it loud. Say it loud. For pride is the beginning of sin, and they're gonna have to be humble. What they thinking is not the right way of thinking. For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that have it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. Okay? The Lord has cast down the thrones of proud princes and set up the meek in their stead. Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai on down. The tabernacle of King David. That's what's about to happen. All right? That lung disease is being cut off. The Lord has cast down the thrones of proud princes. Trump. Zelensky. Putin. Xi Jinping, whatever, all these princes all around the world, these other heathen nations, they about to be put down. Right? And the meek and set up the meek in their stead. The children of Israel. The ones that standing so boldly for the testimony of Yahweh Shai right now. The Lord had plucked up the roots of the proud nations and planted the lowly in their place. The Lord overthrew countries of the heathen and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. He took some of them away and destroyed them and have made their memorial to cease from the earth. And who's that? That's going to be Esau Edom. Their memorial is going to cease from the earth. After 1,000 years, they ain't going to be no more. But you other heathen nations, y'all might live to see the 150 years y'all talking about. Because y'all gonna be living in righteousness. Y'all gonna be living in less sin. Y'all not gonna offend, continually offend. Y'all gonna be thinking twice about fucking up. Pride was not made for man, nor furious anger for them that are born of a woman. Shalaki says, pride was not made for men. Okay. Nor furious anger for them that are born of a woman. Ooh. So the elect, right? The elect is not going to be born of a woman. When they receive those new bodies, that's Yahweh Shai giving them life again. Eternal life. The 2/3 of Israel going to come back being born through a woman, but she's going to be, a glorious woman. A woman with a glorious body. That seed going to be glorious that go inside that woman. So that's going to be their new introduction into life as glorious beings. But the elect, what it say? Pride was not made for men, nor furious anger for them that are born of a woman. All right? They that fear the Lord are a sure seed, and they that love him are and they that love him an honorable plant, right? Because it's not 2/3 of Israel a degenerate plant. The Lord said, how did he, how did y'all come out? The Lord said, I made y'all a noble and a righteous plant. But 2/3 is still stuck in under the ways of Esau Edom, stuck in the ways of being like these heathen nations. Want to join hands with the enemy. They that regard not the law are a dishonorable seed. They that transgress the commandments are a dishonorable, is a deceivable seed. The Lord talking about you 2/3 out there that have, what's it say, 2 Ezra chapter 9, when they had chance of liberty, they despised the Lord's laws. Roughly paraphrasing. When they yet had liberty, they despised the laws, the words, the statutes of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So y'all are considered dishonorable and deceivable. Verse 20. Among brethren, he that is chief is honorable. So are they that fear the Lord in his eyes. So, and the thing, the Lord's eyes are 10 times brighter than the sun. The Lord knows who sincerely and genuinely fear him. There's no faking with Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Verse 21, the fear of the Lord goeth before the obtaining of authority. So before you can, humility comes before honor. Humility comes before honor. Right? The fear of the Lord goeth before the obtaining of authority. But roughness and pride is the losing thereof. And pride, after pride comes a downfall, right? Before a downfall comes pride. Here's the last precept, and I'm out of here. Whether he be rich, noble, or poor, their glory is the fear of the Lord. All right? And, a lot of our brothers, they're in all these situations. But our glory is the fear of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. And, that's how we're going to obtain immortal eternity, immortal life, being vessels of incorruptibility, right? Everlasting life, immortality. We're not going to need it, our immortality is not going to come in the form of a bottle. It's going to come in the form of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, fearing Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, and Baba Kashah through his mercy, that we be changed. Okay? With that, I hope this lesson is edifying to the hopeful, let the Israel. Till next time, Kwam Yasharallah, Wa Abba Baba.